Hello, everybody. This is Max Farrell. This is DexFXMarkets.com. Today is the 19th of June, 2020, and what a glorious day it is. I'm joined this morning by Thor Rafferty.
Good morning.
Do I pronounce your last name right?
Rafferty, yeah.
Okay.
Just spelled weird.
Yeah, I know. Every time I look at it, I always question myself. Is it Rafferty or
No,
Rafferty?
it's Rafferty with a U, and I don't know how that happened. Somebody misspelled it on the boat or something.
I know. Well, a last name like Farrow, I wonder if my last name is misspelled too without the PH, but they just shorten it down. And Farrow with an F, right?
Right.
My heritage comes from Italy and Ireland between my mother and my father. So it's
Right.
half Irish, half Italian. And
Oh my God.
you know how to
Yeah,
drink and fight. That's for sure.
exactly. I always tell people I'm half Irish and half German, which means I like to drink, but I feel guilty about it.
And you want to take over everything. I don't know. All right. So today is the weekly wrap up. I'm joined with Thor. We have probably Chris and the Wings here pretty soon. I'm running a little bit late today. Now, why? I'm glad you asked, because there's a lot of crap going on. I mean, good stuff, really good stuff. You probably heard over the past week, we've done a live YouTube video every single day of the week here right around 10:45 to hit the 11 o'clock hour. Now, why did we do that all week? Well, we wanted to prepare you for the show that's going to happen all next week as well, and into the 30th of June. And during these weeks that we're going to be doing these processes of these shows, where we're going to be talking about product and everything else, they may disappear for some of you, and some they may not. There might be an exclusive process to where you'll go to what we refer to as the Dex TV or the Den TV, whatever it's going to be called at the time. But it's more about getting ourselves, myself and Thor and Chris, prepared for what we're about to embark on. And that is what we call the Den. And the Den stands for the Dex Exclusive Network. Now, what makes the exclusive network different than everything else? Most networks and memberships are pretty exclusive. They're usually, you pay money to be in and you're in, and nobody else can be in unless they pay the money. With ours, the exclusivity is not just about being isolated in a group of people, but it's what that group of people are going to be doing. They're going to be exclusively working with you, not selling new customers, not bringing in new memberships and doing all that stuff, but maybe once or twice a year, we're going to focus on that. But the overall value is to commit to our process of our mission statement. Now, our mission statement is pretty damn easy. I think it's probably one of the best ones that I've seen, and I got help writing it a long time ago, is to find and help as many people to get to their idea of success. Now, we've stood on this statement, on the shoulders of greatness with that statement for a long time. And we've meant it the entire time. Don't get me wrong. But boy, did I get pissed off a couple of weeks ago, almost a month and a half ago, when the idea of success was slowly being filtered away from the primary focus of our company. I kept on thinking internally, do I focus on myself first, or like they say, Thor, what do they say on the airplanes? Make sure you put the mask on yourself first.
Right.
I found myself gravitating to a process of focusing on everybody else. And after we closed down the subscriptions on April 1st, boy, did we take a punch in the gut, maybe even a little lower, because it was tough. It's the first time in 10 years since I started working from home. The first time in 10 years, I was unsure that I was going to be making money. For the first time in 7 years of trading, I was unsure. I was contemplating actually draining my entire market, my entire balance, just to survive. Even though that I had done well over the years and made money and is successful, I still had contemplated these drastic measures in order to survive. And it really brought me back to a point that you have to prepare for all kinds of events that can happen. But sometimes you can't prepare for everything. So you have to prepare. The first thing that you have to prepare for in any catastrophe or in any process is to have a clear mind. And in clearing your mind, you're going to have to do things that you may not like to do. Like you're going to have to remove some things from your life that you're either used to having or you've become accustomed to it being, right? Like in a case of a catastrophe, or even maybe not even a catastrophe, maybe just a life change. Maybe you have to move your home, or you're buying a new house, or you're selling an old one, or you're doing something. You're going to be removing things from your mind. But the clear mind process of being able to do a process to help yourself, this is the only thing that really gets me into the direction that I need to be. And so you're about to look and see a system called the Den that we want you to basically clear your mind of all the distractions, not to think of the things like, is it a scam, or will it work for me? The first question is it a scam? I really can't answer that for you. But what I can do is steer you to things that make it more relevant to be legitimate. And what is that? You have access to people? Yes. Does it have a website? Yes. Can you call customer service? Well, I can contact them through email. But Dex Effects Markets has a phone number on it. You could call us. You could talk to Thor. You could talk to me. I can't tell you how many times that people pick up when I pick up the phone, you're the guy from the video. Or they hear Thor's voice and they know that they're taken care of. Or they've talked to him a dozen times, or they now I'm getting people that are asking for Thor directly. So it's like, I'm like chopped liver now. Thanks a lot.
No, I've got 3 consults today. It's Friday afternoon in the summer. I should be at the swimming pool, but
yeah, right.
Well, doing consults today. So.
Well, let me tell you,
I promise.
It will come back to you tenfold. I promise you that, because the amount of people that have told me on how much you have helped them by just helping them clear their mind, remove all the obstacles. And that's the second point, is that you have to remove the obstacles from your vision. Now, sometimes that's tough, right? You got one or two choices when you're fighting the world of obstacles in your way. You could choose to see the obstacle and allow the obstacle to be a force to be pushed against. And there's only one or two results that can happen from this. The obstacle can overtake you. You can go around the obstacle, or you can go through the obstacle. So either stop, go through, or go around. Now, in most cases, what are your obstacles that are preventing you from making this stuff happen for yourself? Well, once you clear your mind and you figure out that you're on a pathway, right, that you're ready to go, like I need to make money. I want to protect myself. I want to protect my family. You have a clear mind. You removed all the obstacles. This also means an obstacle can be an excuse, can be an event. Well, I won't do it until I hit this age, or I won't do this until I do that. It could be a reasoning. It could be an idealization. It could be a thought strategy. I was talking to, and I hate to put him on the spot, my son yesterday. And I said, how come you haven't been out in your shop? He wants to be, listen, he's 15 years old, and this kid's got some skill when it comes to, I'm biased, of course, but he's got some skill when it comes to blacksmithing. Yeah, I know, right? Blacksmithing. So he has a shop at his house. And I said, how come you haven't been out in your shop? Well, the shop wasn't perfect, and I wanted to make the shop better. And before I start smithing, he has all the tools. And I said, does the outside of the building prevent you from doing your job? No, he said. I said, well, then you've allowed an obstacle to create force to push back on you and stop you. And I gave him the same talk. You have to create a pathway. And this is the third challenge, is that you have to create a pathway that you can follow. Once you've cleared your mind, made your decision that that's the direction you want to go, you remove the obstacles, the excuses, the strategies that prevent you from doing stuff. You now have to create a pathway for yourself. All those alerts going off down there. Awesome. We'll talk about a lot of that here in a minute. Once you find your pathway, and how do you make your pathway? Well, what do they say, Thor? The path of least resistance.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Now some say the quickest destination to one point to another is a straight line. It could be a circle. It doesn't really matter what the pathway is for you as long as it allows you to obtain your goal. If your goal is all the way over here and you got all these obstacles in the way, sometimes that straight path is going to lead you right into a lot. You might have to go.
The hills.
That's right. Scared the hell out of me, Paul. Thanks a lot.
I've just got on. Sorry.
I was like, God, is that you? Please. The hills and dales of life, correct? And you got a lot of hills and dales in your life. We all do. And sometimes marching up one is harder than taking the ride downhill in the other. But we forget that our pathway is each one of us is our own. It's not the same for everybody. We talked yesterday. Chris said, what do you tell customers when they say that I have a 9-to-5 job and I got to, right? They're here waiting for the pathway and they're like, boom, that's my first excuse, right? That's my first 9-to-5 excuse. I don't have the time. And that's usually a big one for a lot of people. I don't have the time. But do you allow yourself to fall victim to that? And I say victim because it is a victimization. And if you tell yourself, okay, so 9 to 5 is out there. I got it. I'm working here. But I got to 6 to 11 now. So this is my pathway. When I come home, this is what I do. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Now, if you can't do these steps, if you can't take on this challenge, then you either have to find another pathway, remove an obstacle, or clear your mind better. When you find yourself into a jam, you got to go back through these. Am I creating my own obstacle? Is my pathway easy? This is easy to troubleshoot. The mentality to be here, the mentality to be in the den, the mentality to get up every effing morning and do the same thing over and over and over again. When it's right is perfection. When it's wrong, it's insanity. Do you understand? So you have to self-navigate along the way on your pathway by re-asking you the questions. What obstacles do I have today? Is my mind clear? And final, we say that there's a process that I've committed to that I refer to as the Einstein window. And the Einstein window is very easy to take on as a concept in your life. When is the best time you vibrate? When is the best time that you can, all cylinders are firing? Now, maybe sometimes this is why you're at work or what have you. But if you've made a decision to do this, you'll find your time. And during your time frame or whatever it might be, 9 to 5, 8 to 3, 6 to 11, it doesn't matter what it is. Make sure that you've done those 3 things that we said. Clear your mind, remove the obstacles, find your pathway. Those 3 things are in everything that you do from this point on. Clear your mind. Okay. Which means that you prepare yourself ready to trade. That's a big one. Remove the obstacles. In the act of trading, for me, I have 350,000 tabs up on my computer. You think I'm distracted? Absolutely. Now I'm used to working at that level. But when you're first starting out, you may not be. Right? Now create your pathway. Get your Nadex account up, get your signals up, get your desktop on, have your coffee in your left hand, ready to go. Your charts are up, your job is on, you're ready to go. Your pathway has a destination, has a start place, has a process. Now, you can either create a goal and say, all right, I want to make $100 a day, Max, I'm on it. Thor, is it okay not to reach your goal in a day?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it'll happen to people.
Mm-hmm.
I have days when I have losses for the total for the day. It happens. Obviously, you're going to strive for that goal, and you want your goal to be realistic, and you want your goal to have maybe a little extra margin in there for days when you don't make it.
Absolutely.
But as long as the vast majority of the time you're hitting your goal, you're on the right path.
And Paul, what about you? How do you feel about daily goals? Do you set daily goals? Do you set weekly goals?
Daily goals, I generally go on the amount of wins or losses I take,
Mhm.
and then decide on how much. I'm not greedy,
Right.
but I know if I hit a losing run, if you like, which often happens, so not often, but often enough,
Yeah.
then I know when to reel it in. Otherwise, I can find myself getting frustrated and then making other mistakes. But
Absolutely.
generally, like today has been an absolutely awesome day, and I made mistakes at the beginning. I'm just actually sorting my journal out now, but
Cool.
made a few mistakes, put the wrong thing on, but they all came up good. But that's not to say that I should go with making mistakes.
Absolutely. You know, I think what I've began to condition people with under the pathway mentality is to set your time frame that you're trading. If you are trading from 8 to 11, then during this time period, the trades that you make that are winning, that are losing, or what have you, once you get to a point of making that money, you know, or doing that time period, stay within the confounds of your Einstein window when you're firing. If you've got stuff that's happening, or you're too tired, or you're intoxicated, right? Some people come home and they have that first 2 or 3 beers and they find themselves eating 4 or 5, and then next thing you know, they're making bad decisions, right? Now, I'm not saying if you're drinking, you make bad decisions. What I'm saying, Mr. Boxwine, I am saying that during a particular type of time that you're there to trade, you're there to do that. Okay. Now, if you happen to win, let me do these right. If you get a win, a win, a win, a win, that's a W, and then you got a loss and you got a loss, and you get to this point that maybe you've broken even for the day right here. Do you go outside the confines of your Einstein window or your time frame? If you've done that and say you're at a break even, maybe you're at a plus $10 or whatever, right? In the process, you can chase that dream of, hey, I got to have $100 today. But like you heard Paul say earlier, make sure that other days that you happen to go over during this time, maybe you won all those trades in that particular time frame, that make up for that.
Well, sorry, Max, just to give you an idea here. Today I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades, one loss, 156.75.
See, so and what's your daily goal? Do you have one?
Yeah, it would be just over 100, and anything over 100 is good
Anything
for me.
over
That's 500 a week.
So 100 plus. See, so this is the mentality, right? So if he came up short, let's say he came up 75, and it was right at the time that, hey, look, I got the kids going, I got a lot of stuff. Would he push the confines outside the box? And that's where setting our pathway, setting our goals, our timing for the day is very important. We have a customer, David Menning, or client, partner, whatever you want to call him. Okay. Somebody who does the actual trading as well. And he has this daily goal as well. And yesterday, or I think a day before, he got to a point where he wasn't quite meeting it, right? There was a lot of news in the morning. There's a lot of variables happening. He had a couple losses. He was just above break even. And I saw a gap in between when he trades in the morning. Now, Mr. Menning trades all day long. He could trade during the day, he could trade at night, he could take a break, he could do whatever. But he's a monster when it comes to trading. And he's trading live, by the way. These are live results we're talking about. And I'll show you mine here and a little bit of a difference. So in the concept of, do I force myself to get my $100 a day? And the question is, no, never force the product of value to happen. If you make the time, simply start over, clear your mind, remove the obstacles, and set your new pathway. If this is 8 to 11, this might be 1 to 4 with the new pathway. And you simply just clear it. You clear it and you start again. And you say, okay, I'll set my time here. I made 75 this morning. Now my new pathway here is between 1 to 4. And I trade, win, loss, win. And if that during that time, I increase the value here, stay with it. Okay, you've applied it and then you're done. But set your time. Give yourself a knowledge that you're not just there fighting open-ended until you make that. Because here's what will happen. You might get into this section and be like, oh man, I did another 2 to 2. Now I dropped down, minus another $29 or whatever it might be for whatever reason. Okay. Or another $26 or whatever it is. The point being is that if you were to fight through another one, you could have another negative result from that point. It's just in the timing of wins and losses and the education of wins and loss. So it's best that if you do fight through to get to it, only do it for one more session of your time. Create these sessions, because that way you can have a stopping point. You can have a goal to get to. 2 sessions or $100. 1 session or $100. Create those ors, not just $100, but create sessions within your pathway. 8 to 11, 1 to 4. Now, if something opens up, honor the original session that you had. Let's say you're doing 8 to 11 because you got a dentist appointment at 12. And then you got, maybe another session planned for the day to 1 to 4. In that case, maybe you don't take the break here, right? Because the dentist decided to reschedule your stuff or whatever it might be, whatever that obstacle is. Do you sit and trade from 8 to 4? No. Stand with your original intent for the day, whether it's set the day before or of that day. Get into the habit, just like you create a journal. Create yourself a schedule that'll help you through the day. I'm trading between 1 and 4 now. These are my time frames. The door is closed. Facebook is off. The phone's turned off. You're ready to go. Are you sitting for 3 hours from 2 to 3 to 4? No. You're sitting at the top of the hour. You might be sitting for 20, 30 minutes, but during this time frame, whatever you do secondarily while you trade, do so with the intent that at the top of the hour, 5 minutes before, you're back at the table again. Now, this is if you're trading manual. Trading live or trading with the Xenon bot, you should still be showing up every hour to do what? At about 10 minutes past the hour for the Xenon, you're going to jump in and you're going to grab the data, right? Why is data important for you? Because no matter how much you clarify the data prior to going into a trade, you're going to want to take that data and put it into a journal so you can know, where am I making my money? How well is it doing? Oh, look at that. The Euro USD failed me again today, man. That sucks. Or I'm doing really well. I got an 8 to 2 ratio for it today. Okay. You could start to really sparse your data too in figuring out, if you're separating, what sessions do well. Maybe you got, the 4 sessions down. And you're saying, the London market really does well for me, but the Asia market's sort of kicking my butt as of late. If I remove that, I get into less trades, but I always have my trusty CVG ready to go at any time. Okay. So you should make sure that even if you're trading automated, you're not waiting for a long period of time, like from Monday to Sunday to take your data. You should be doing it every day. In fact, you should be doing it 2 or 3 times a day. I would almost venture to say at the top of every hour, but I'm neurotic when it comes to data. All right. You two have anything you want to add to it?
Just, it's critical that you create a plan, your trading plan. And that includes the time of day you're going to trade, what you're going to trade, what your trading rules are, and that you stick to that plan. When you try jumping around, saying, oh, gee, maybe I should try this, you're going to fail.
Yes.
So you want to create a plan, write it down. I believe in writing it down. I think that ingrains it into your mind better than just thinking about it, and stick to it.
Yeah. Get yourself a calendar. Figure out when. See, because in creating the pathway, you have to kind of make your time. Now, another thing is that we say, like, news avoidance stuff. If you're trading manual, a lot it has to say about news avoidance. Are you trading during a news or are you not? So what I do is that I kind of look at the week on Sunday night. I jump over to our friends over at investing.com. I go to our tools, I go to economic calendar, and I look at the week. I'll just pop it up here and I'll do this week like that. And it'll tell me I'm looking for 3 bull news. So I can filter this stuff out. I can come in and say that if I scroll down here, I say, I just want to see 3 and 2 bulls, right? Close that filter out. Oh, did I not see? Apply. Okay. And so when I apply it, it's only going to show me 2 and 3 bull news. So I know Sunday night's pretty clear. And for my time frame, if I only have between 8 and 11, I'm looking for, what does my time look like between 8 and 11? Well, I got two bull news, nothing too serious for Monday. Tuesday, not too bad. Well, there's a whole bunch of news happening here at 8:30. I'm not trading during, oh boy, I can't even trade at 11 o'clock. So guess what? Tuesday, I'm off. Now, if I have to shift to a 1 to 4, what does that one look like? And I do the same thing for each and every day that comes through. Wednesday, I'm completely taking off. I'm going to the Caribbean or something because that's a crazy day of news. And it's the same thing. For me personally, I engage my week like this and I write down what sessions I want to trade. And sometimes because it's me and I have so much stuff that I'm doing, because this isn't my only rodeo, I'm in writing the code and being the program, not just a trader. I'm editing videos. I'm putting new stuff in. I also own 2 other businesses and networks that are very important. My wife has a very lucrative real estate agency that I also help market and advertise and create programs for. So there is a lot of stuff that I do. So I get encapsulated sometimes with all my obstacles, taking up all my good times to trade. So I have to force myself to sit down at the computer and do certain times and make my trades. But that's for me personally. All of you have all your own obstacles. That's why we're covering this today. And I always want you to be coming to these webinars, to these videos, to these live sessions with the knowledge that you're going to get some training and some sort of experience, either from myself or Paul or Thor or Chris, that can help you in your trading, because that's what we're here for. Like I said in the beginning, we started off with the idea of getting everybody to their idea of success. And we have great intentions. Now we're going to get you to not just your idea of success. We're going to show you how we got to ours and how to step and repeat, because that's the tough part. Most people come in and they try it out and they do well for a little while, and then they get a little sloppy, or they get to thinking that, oh yeah, it's going to be given to me. It's going to be a piece of cake. They get some losses and they get fearful, and then it just spirals out of contention. And if you don't have anybody who says, hey, no, that's okay, that's normal, that's what happens, here's what you go next, here's what happens next, there's nobody there for a helping hand, what happens? You leave. You go find something else. You squirrel. Look, there's a new system, right? We don't want you to do that. So if you come into the den, you're under the intent that this is it for you. This is the process. We're going to get you in and get you to a network advisor. Somebody's going to help you get to that point. They're going to ask you a bunch of questions, either Thor, myself, or Paul, or Chris, and we're going to sit you down and we're going to find out exactly what system you should be using, whether it's live or manual, or whether it's whether it's manual or automated, or whether it's the ATMs or the dailies or what have you. Okay. All right. Guys, got anything else at the end?
No, I think, what you're saying is really important. I spoke with a very nice lady this morning, and she said, I'm going to download the Zedon and I want to go live next week. And I said, no, I'm not going to let you do that, because that's not enough time for you to learn it.
Right.
We want people to really, really learn the system. And that's what Den is all about.
Yeah.
Really learning the system before you go live. And when you're ready, go live. And hopefully you'll be ready to be profitable right from the get-go.
I don't think I've ever met a company in the history to go, you know what, here's a piece of software that's very profitable. We're not going to let you go live until you've proven to us that you can do it responsibly, right? That we know that you know the ins and outs of the program and how to navigate. I don't want you calling me up at 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, Max, why does my system have 22 contracts in it? Well, you put 22 in the hole there, kid. Sorry. You didn't get yourself down to some muscle memory with the program.
I think it's also good to remember that although we're talking about this at the moment, is that a lot of people take breaks, take holidays, and do whatever they need to do, and they're away from trading for a week or two. I think it's important to reiterate that when you come back into trading, if you're live, to go back into demo, certainly for a day or two, and so you get back into the flow. You can't take a break from trading and then suddenly come back in live. It's like starting afresh sometimes. It
is, and I'm a perfect victim of that. And I say victim again because I have victimized myself coming back in and going straight live and not making mistakes on like choosing, oh, I shouldn't have got that level kind of thing. That's sort of been bred into me now. But making mistakes like clicking too fast through stuff and not taking my time and getting into that process. And even if you are demoing, if you've been demoing and trading for a long time and you take a week off and you come back, yeah, of course, take a couple of hours and just do a couple practice trades and then get back into it. But if you've taken off more than a week or 2 weeks or what have you, yeah, you better be testing for a couple of weeks, even maybe half the time that you were gone, to get back to that feeling. And then once you get it to where it's like becomes like breathing to you again, then get back into it. But our process doesn't really take a lot of rocket science. You're not doing heavy calculations or brain surgery here. Okay. You're picking levels, you're looking at the levels, you're getting in on a very easy time, and you're going from there. And if you're starting your ZDON, just knowing how to set everything, get everything on board is crucial. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the weekly wrap up now, and I'm going to show you a lot of numbers. There's going to be a lot of craziness happening. I don't know if Thor or Paul, you guys have numbers either or whatever's going on. But I'm going to start with our favorite little friend here, David Menning. Now, but before I do, let me tell you what we've focused on this week as far as building. The first thing that we wanted to really contribute to is creating the DEN, right? The DEX exclusive network. And we're getting a lot of stuff that's on board, and I'll show you that here in a second. The next is that we wanted to get the DEX atomic signals on. And the DEX atomic signals are very powerful because there's 3 sets of them. There's the ATMs, the ITMs, the at the monies, the in the monies, okay? And then the commodities / indices. Now, originally, we were going to have all these things, and we're still going to have a pretty kick-ass system in there. And I'll show you what it looks like now, even though that it's changing, and I'll tell you why in a moment. The ATMs have Forex, and they're going to have 5 pairs, okay, for now. And these are the master pairs. These are the master pairs that are going to be trading the Forex binaries, and they're going to be trading them 22 hours a day. That's huge. Those 5 pairs have such a high rate of success. And the reason why I'm only doing 5 pairs, folks, is because if I set 10 pairs in there, people are going to be using all 10 pairs. They're going to be using and going after all 10 pairs. These 5 pairs we're going to be using have the highest quality, and they're the master ones, and they're the ones that have the best winning success overall as a group when you trade them all. 3 usually out of 5 pairs are trading just about every session. Okay, so when you have those 5 pairs trading, you are taking a lot of trades at that point. If there's a lot of signals, you're going to be either following signals, manual trading, signals, or automation. Those are the 3 things we're going to be talking about today as well. Okay, but these 5 pairs are going to be set up. That's the Euro USD, that's the Audi USD, Euro USD, Euro JPY, the Great Britain Pound USD, and the USD JPY. Those 5 pairs. Now, with the ATM firing in that direction, there is the ITM system. These are in the monies. These are like what Paul and Thor probably trade, or Thor trades now with the DEX effect or DEX atomic. These will be where the arrow comes out and it's picking a dynamic structure from previous highs or lows. Okay. And in this, there'll be all 10 pairs. I will fit all 10 pairs into this one because you're only going to choose 1 or 2 pairs in here to trade. Okay. Because you won't be able to effectively afford to be able to do all 10 pairs at any one time. Now, why don't I do that up here? Well, simply enough that the ATMs are so lucrative, okay, and are so appeasing to try to get them because they're about for almost half the price, okay? You're knocking off a quarter of the price almost immediately on what you're getting them for. People will tend to get into them more. Now, later on, we might have the secondaries on. It all really depends on how this weekend goes, okay? And then lastly, we have the 5 or 6 commodities and indices that we'll be releasing as well. Now, this one here might be delayed maybe a day or 2, but this is what we've wanted to commit to with the DEX atomic signals, okay? Now, in here, there's only about 5 or 6 pairs. I've had to deal with a lot of data issues with these guys here. These will not be on charts. These will only be signals. That's all we're talking about here. We're not even talking about charts yet. And we might be adding the USD MXN here into the ITMs, okay? There's also a secret little project that I'm working on called the OTM. but this is more of a strategy than it is actually a signal that I want to kind of commit to. So we'll see how that works over the next couple of days. Lastly, let me get rid of some of this stuff in here if I can do it fast enough. Lastly, there is the signal system itself. Let me show you what that looks like. Let me share. Okay, if I come in here, here is the DEN system, the DEN portal. Oh, I already had it on. We do have some of our training on now. We'll be isolating some of the training. Here's a what to do first, where to go, what to do kind of thing. Here's what the Dexatomic main signals look like now, right? And I'm using just a simple database configuration system in here, not like we have on the other one, because the other one's pretty complex. We are making a more complex one. I should say I am making a more complex one. Like I've stated before, I've had to reteach myself certain programs and systems. And since 2 days ago, I've been learning another system called Python. I already knew Python to a degree in coding, but I've been training myself more in Python so I could do calculations. This is done in PHP with systems from PineScript from TradingView that send out alerts to this. But I wanted to be able to have more control over the data, which I'm doing this weekend. I was hoping to have it done last night, but I ran into some small issues with time and some personal stuff. So I wanted to make sure that I spent that time wisely. Now, this weekend, I'm building, even though it's Father's Day weekend, I'm building some things in here that we should have ready for Monday, if not at the latest Tuesday.
Max?
Yeah.
Quick question about that. Is
Sure.
the price column, is that the price at the time the signal comes out, or is that the entry price for NADEX? The strike price you would enter at
Well,
NADEX?
We don't connect to NADEX here at this point. So it's just a price that is the open price for that pair. This is the ATM signal.
Right.
The ITM will have the price that we call the statement price.
Okay.
It's not going to be an open price. It's going to be the price that we set for, that we suggest that you take. So you take this 1.1182 and you go to NADEX. If it's a sell, you try to find something at it or higher. And if it's a buy, you try to find it at it or lower.
Below. Yeah.
Okay. So just the same way you would go if you've seen one of the other signals. In the future, there are processes that we have in tow that for the signals that can go and see what pricing structures are available on and statements on the system and put the statement price in there. But again, that can't happen until we make some decisions on the process.
Right.
Just sent you a
thank
message, Max.
Yes, no, I know. This is the username and password for this system.
All
For
right.
right now, it's a temporary system. And what I've done is that, even though that is on, and I appreciate that you're looking out after me. If I don't know if I recycle this, what happens here, if it'll show again, if this will show, because what I've done is for where this is at. No, it's still okay. It's been removed. All right. What I did is I had this under a password protected page, but I took it off last night, but I was still caching. So I haven't removed it. It did have a password protection system in here for this. Okay. So it's all right. So this system here is temporary until I think like Monday or Tuesday. The new stuff, which will have, what's the win rate? How many have I won and how many have I lost? If I won or lost that trade, you'll be able to see the success rate there. Also by how many pips it won by, right? So you can engage, just like the other pair does all the time, or the other signal system does. We'll be doing sort of the same thing here, but I'm gonna be able to control the data a lot more than I am over the old signal system. Okay. What's to come? The ITM, ATM, like we talked about, commodities. We're looking by hopefully by 6/22, which is Monday, and a new ZDON for the Dexatomic system. We're looking by at least July 6th, right? And that's where we take all that data from these signals and we put it into our ZDON bot. Now, I'm not sure yet if we are going to be making a separate ZDON for you to be able to license and get on and get in, because I don't want you to convolute it with the old signals just yet. Okay. There's also some things that we have fired off in testing that have been working very, very, very well. And I'll show you those here in just a second, like I said before. All right, so let's do that. Before I do, in the live trading of the Dex Atomic series and the ATM, I want to show you a couple of examples of success today. Okay, let me see if I can find them. Here we go. And here's well, not the first one. Did I not put his up here? I apologize. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we are. This is David Menning, and here is his week. It starts out on, what is the week start? The 15th. Okay. His week so far, trading one contract at a time, $663.25. This is his first weekend trading manual. Okay. Here's his time period right here. Starting the 15th right here. And his first day in made $129. Well, his first day in, he was trading live, was last week on last Friday. Okay. And if you look from Friday to Friday, this is a truly 1 7-day period. He's done $726. That's not too bad. 78% success rate. He's not trading every single signal. He's choosing wisely because he got in and trained for 2 weeks, like we said yesterday. But his week ended out pretty damn good. Okay. And this is the point where we said yes, when I was telling you guys that he's like, it's a little bit tougher today. I'm not winning as much as I wanted to, or I didn't make my daily goal, if you will. And he took it out just a little bit further, right? There it is. Sometimes a daily goal may not be met, right? And he didn't hit his goal for the day. He didn't hit his $100 to the day, but his session ended, right? Now with David, it's, look, he took a session. I took a stab at it. There's 12 midnight, right? Went to bed, got up, traded from 1 to, traded 1 o'clock, 1 to 2 o'clock, had a 50-50. Okay. And then came back later and he did one last one, done for the day, close enough. Right. So might trade tomorrow, but he's way over his goal for the week. Remember, he's trading 4 or 5 days a week. So, that's not bad for the week. He's only trading one contract at a time. This is still live. Now, remember, what goal does he have to get to? Right? He's trading one contract. I don't know what his balance is, and I really don't care whatever it is. But he should have, well, I do care. It should be over whatever he's risking at any one time session, right? Like if he's trading two trades at one time, he should have at least $1,200 to $1,400 in his account, right? More than $1,000, right? Because for every time that you risk, for however much you're risking, $55, you want to have at least 10 times that amount in your balance, called a balance goal or a balance level. And under that balance level, you should have at least that amount. So if you're going to trade at most 2 contracts or 2 trades at a time with 1 contract each, have at least 1,100. And that means in order to increase a value of 1 contract, you should at least have what? Twice that amount, about 2,000. Okay. Once he gets to about a $2,000 profit, he should not drain it all off and start all over again in 1 contract, because you want to incrementally crawl. You want to get up to a point where now I could trade 2 contracts at a time per each trade. I can have 4 contracts on at one time, right? This isn't trade 1 contract for every trade that comes on and you have 4 trades on at once. That can happen. You got to be careful. You have to understand that the what we refer to as the risks to ruin percentage is very low, but you still could get hurt with a couple of bad days in a row if you only have $500 in your account. Okay. So the understanding is, when does David go to the next level? Well, as soon as he can afford to do however many contracts average he does at any one session, right? There's a 10, there's a 5, there's a 4, there's a 3, there's a 3. So it looks like 2, right? Only about 2 average that he ever does at any one time. Up there's 3. But that's on him. That's his balance. There's 3 again. That gives him that availability to decide. And even though that he won he won 2 and he lost 1. He still made $30 for that time, right? Still made $30. There's another $30 won there for that session. So if he traded now, let's just say in this week, in 1 week, he made enough to double his money, to put 2 contracts on each time. He doubles his risk. Now, if he does that and he loses and he drops down below that profit margin, then what does he do? He goes back to 1 contract till he gets above it, right? That's the rule. But congratulate him when you see him in the Discord room. If you're not in Discord, go through the training module on the system to find out what Discord is right here, okay? If you don't know how to create a journal, there's under the tools, you learn how to make a journal, making a journal. I even put on the journal page, the topic, an example of sheet, okay, to my live trading, okay? So you can see. All right. So there should be no more excuses. There's a lot of training on board that you could start with. We're filling in details. We're bringing in a lot of stuff. Okay. Now, that leads me to another example. My example. Well, this isn't for the week. This is since I started back on the 7th, made $1,000. This is live money. And Max, you told me before that you make $4,000 to $6,000, Max. Yeah. Well, you know what? What I have done is I've done this trading while holding not a 9 to 5, a 9 to like 3 o'clock in the morning job. Okay. And I've done that since the 7th. What did I make this week? I didn't get a chance to get in there and do a lot of trades. I'll be honest with you. But when I did, I focused. And if you see, there's one trade. This is about the time we do the webinar, right? Here's another one. It came in late at night. I sat down for a half hour to top of the hour because for me, my Einstein window is not in blocks of an hour, but in blocks of about 20 minutes, 10 minutes before and 10 minutes after the top of the hour. With some of these trades, I got in and I just got up and walked away. I didn't even know I won until the next morning. Okay. But let's just say this was you. Let's just say that the amount of work that I did from the 15th to the 17th, which is basically, oh, I didn't calculate the trades I did yesterday. Crap, they're not in here. Okay, doesn't matter. It's a little bit more than that. It's about another 140 something bucks above there, $120 above that, 130 something. But my point being is that, I didn't even trade this morning yet, or I probably won't, but it's Friday. I rarely ever trade Friday. It's my rule. Doesn't have to be yours. It's mine. What about you guys? Do you guys have a pathway set for your trading? Do you guys have like rules, what you set for your time?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't like Fridays very much either. I have my Friday jinx. I think that
Right.
every time I trade on Fridays, it turns out to be a losing day.
Right.
And I hate ending the week on a losing day. You know, it's like, oh, what a bummer. So yeah, you definitely have structured when I'm trading, what time, what my rules are. You can't do it any other way.
Right. What about you, Paul?
Well, it's difficult. Obviously, I have a young family. I'm up first thing, so I'm up at about 6:30 because I do videos as well, and I have a quick look, and that's it. I then have to go to work. I've got a day job as well, and then when I come back, obviously I feed the family and I do everything else, so it's quite hard to fit it in. So there's no set time, but I do know my best times are from, obviously I'm in GMT, is between 6 in the morning and until I go to work. Those are my best times. But what I have found is that with the Zedon now, I've been messing with the new settings on it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that too, baby. That should be a whole video in itself. It's
well,
wonderful.
That at the moment is killing it. That's my trades I've had up today and yesterday, and that was even making mistakes, but that came through okay. Came fine. I have absolute faith in it so far. I always have done. It's just, oh, that's my doorbell.
And there's your time.
Yeah, there you go.
Avon lady.
You now owe.
Avon lady, yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. But at the moment, I'm more concentrating on testing out the Zedon again, and certainly at the new prices that we're putting through it and going through its paces. So yeah, I'm more than happy with it.
You know, there's a my wife used to say this to me all the time. Back about 5 years ago, I feel like I needed to make like a Dex Anonymous kind of thing, right? Like, hello, my name is Max, and I have a problem. Um, I played a lot of cards, you know, in my lifetime, and I've gambled a lot, right? I gambled, and I was a professional blackjack player, and I say professional because I made a lot of money playing blackjack, but I of course counted cards and I'd done that kind of stuff. Is that cheating? No, it's using the mentality I feel personally, you know. But do I play blackjack anymore? Under the law, nope. I ain't going anywhere near a casino and playing blackjack ever again. I'll, you know, just play in the comforts of my own home every once in a while. But for me, it was the anticipation. Once you get to a point where you start really knowing the market, it becomes mundane. It becomes all about the numbers, and it kind of loses a life of excitement in a way. But it feels good to kind of put it all together and say, okay, this is what it is. Knowing that if I sit down for 20 minutes, 10 minutes before the hour and 10 minutes after the hour, that time period, and I make my trades is like doing my job. And then I can go do other stuff. Then I come back. And during that time, I might do that three, maybe 4 times a day. What is that? An hour and a half where the physical work to do the job. And if I did that, I want you to look at this. Each one of these trading hours, see, this is 20 minutes worth of time. This one, 20 minutes. So there's 40 minutes. Here's another one. There's an hour total for trading. Another 11, there's 20 minutes. Okay, so it's an hour and 20 minutes. Here's another one right here. Okay, that's an hour and 40 minutes. And an hour, 2 hours and 20 minutes total for the week. 2 hours and 20 minutes of total trading for the week. And if I take that number and do it by, what is that? 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's 240.
Or 240. Yeah.
Oh wait, is it?
No, 140.
140. Wait. So 330 divided by 140 times 60. I probably $142 an hour. No. $142 an hour. See, is everybody ringing? If everybody gets a door ring here in a minute, I'm going to be very upset because somebody just rang my doorbell. But that's basically what I sat myself down to do. Now that $142, guess what, folks? I had one where I had a double click that I got into. I got into the same one like an idiot. You know,
That's
but
good
then
to know
I
you occasionally make a mistake too.
well, yeah, you know, and look what happened once I realized it. What did I do? I got out. I just got out, even though I still won. I got out because when I see this is past. This is mistakes are something to learn from on the good or bad side, and I got out. Okay, the process of $140 something an hour, this is still just one contract at a time. Even if I were to take this one out and put it to the side, that is still a very good living. It's $100 and something an hour, right? Well, I take $20, that's 2 hours, right? It's $150 an hour. You can't complain about that solution in there like that. And what I can do is that now I can take this and times it by however many contracts I want to do next week. Now, for me, I have a higher balance with a low amount that I made, but for the week, if I actually made just a little bit more. So, cause I didn't include the 18th trades in here yet. Sorry. Even being the guy who made it and talking about journals, I'm sorry. Okay. I apologize, but do as I say, not as I do. No, only kidding. But you have to keep on your journal. I'm trying to keep on my journal, but also making the videos to be here today. Listen to all my great excuses. Okay. So now this is all still trading live with the Dex Atomic, with the $45 profit margin at the money. In the beginning of the week, I put out something in Facebook in the Facebook group, And I said, if you're not trading Zedon right now and you have the bot and you know the bot, do me a favor and trade the signals, because the Zedon bot uses the signal system from here. It uses, oops, sorry. Well, that page has got kind of jangled, didn't it? It uses the signals from the old signal system. And I say old, it's really old. It's like 6 years old for the dailies. Okay. And I used and the 1 hours. And I said to people, trade it and see what happens, what we refer to as a 45 and at the money strategy, at the money pricing, not at the money of, not the open price. All right. So don't make the open price what the open price is when the pair fires its signal at 11 o'clock. Put a $45 market price in there for your profit. So on a sell, 45, on a buy, 55. I told people to trade that. You can trade it on the dailies, the 1 hours, the 2 hours, the 5 minutes, whatever, and see what happens. I personally traded on I started with 5 minutes and playing around with that. And I had the dailies and the 1 hours and the 2 hours. I had them all. And I just took the dailies off. It was a very low rate of fill. And they could still have a lot. There's people out there trading the dailies. But I'm just doing the 1 hours and 2 hours right now. Okay. And what I did is that I came in. Oh, man, it's even better. It's even better. And you can kind of see right now, you can't really know that I'm way up but there's a lot of trades on, right? There's a lot of trades happening in that process, but we're doing well. This segment is doing well. This was down. We started at 21.3 something, 21.2 something. I haven't calculated trades that it just fired off on, but I can. Let me pause share for a second. Okay. Resume share. I'm going to come back up. This is the demo account, of course, because we're in testing this process. I don't know which one I stopped with. Let me see here. This is the 1 hour. And you're gonna be. This is 1 hour, which stopped at 6 a.m. Let me go back and grab all that data from 6 a.m. expiry. There's a 6 a.m. expiry. Here's the 10 a.m. Oh boy. Now, if you're watching this and you're watching me fuddle through this, I apologize. Please don't have your eyes roll back in the back of your head. I'm going to try to get through this as fast as possible.
And you don't want to let your data build up, or you're going to have a mess to sort out.
Yes, exactly.
You want to do this frequently with the Zedon, because it does trade all night. And you wake up in the morning, you've got to sort out 10 trades or something.
Exactly.
You definitely want to keep up with this. That way you won't have to be doing it.
I'm going to take this last little trade off because it hasn't filled yet. It hasn't finished yet. Okay. So we're up another $33 from this morning. Yeah. And if you're not used to using the spreadsheets or get yourself in to just start using them. Watch a couple of the videos. If you have questions, ask. You can always sit over my shoulder too. And you can write me in Discord and say, hey, Matt, can you share your screen with me while you do a couple of these so I can see the protocols? You can watch it right now, me grabbing information. And, because every trade has a sell or buy, I should say sell or buy, the fee payment, okay, of minus $1, because you want to keep those fees in there. And sometimes if you're doing multiple trades at once, okay, you want to give yourself a little bit of room. You're looking for the next thing is called the settlement payout. And if it's a win, you'll have a settlement payout of $100 and a fee payment of $1. If you lose, you will only have the fee payment, or you'll only have the settlement, which is $0, right? So like that one right there. So this one right here of the USD lost, okay? But this one won. So I move that up to its proper place. I grab the settlement price and move it there. I then come up to anything that has 4 columns, and I want to now do a sum of that process. So I'll copy that and I'll put it there, and I'll even copy it right there, paste it right there, and even use it for my 3 that I have there. Oops, that didn't work. Duh. Wait, what's going on there? I guess I didn't do that right. So here's what we're going to do. Equal sum, and I'll gather that information, put it there. There, minus 56. So what this is and what you're seeing right now is that we have taken our ZDON system, our ZDON bot system, and we've applied a $45 profit. And I wanted to stop that real quick. I should probably have done that. Here, I'll end the session real quick there, but I got to make sure I bring it back on. They could have even done it inside. For the 1 hour and 2 hours, I've done 45 on the sell and a 55 on the buy. Okay. So why I'm telling you this is because there is a mentality that's happening with 1 hour and 2 hour trades. Is that a 2 hour or 1 hour? Ten, 11, 8 to 10. Oh, this is a 2 hour. That's why. Okay. So I'm going to take it there, put it here. I was wondering what's going on. Boom, just like that. Okay, so we're back to 320 on that side. 1 hours are still doing pretty good. 2 hours is doing really good as well. Even with a 60% success rate, we're still at 116 bucks. Not too bad. Wait. Idjit, why didn't it work? There we go. It's an 80% success rate. I was like, wait a minute. I know I won that one. And there you go. The amount of success here, right? This is just from yesterday. This is just from yesterday. $116, one contract at a time. $320. This is just from, or for the 1 hours, it's from the 15th. So 3 days. So $100 a day, one contract, $100 a day, average. This is demo. We're practicing. We're letting it get into the groove, because what's going to happen is that I'm going to let it go through the end of the month to the 30th and into the first week of July, through a holiday, through the NFP. And once that happens, everything is done at that point. The Dexatomic ATMs for automation trading still need at least 2 months worth of demoing in automation. The signals have been out for many years with the or 2 years now for the TNT signals. And that's what this is using, a 1 hour TNT and 2 hour TNT. This strategy works. And I'm not the only one. That should be a song. Where did it go? Here's David Menning's side. It works. Has a little bit of a hit every once in a while, but it works.
See,
Now,
I'm doing mine at 80%, not 100%.
Yeah, see, and you can kind of see the more you filter it, you do a little less, right? But you're still in the positive. Okay. You may only be looking for 100%. If you're looking for the 100% winners in a performance system, which some of you don't know, our signals have a performance section that follows, what the performance level is. And so the point is that what I am looking at, right? What I look at is that I just what is the base? What does the base happen? The performance center is great. Did those sessions go on? Okay, there we go. The performance section is absolutely wonderful in our system, but is it needed? I'm not filtering news. I'm not filtering 100% performance from previous trades or signals or anything like that. I'm just letting the signal do its thing. Because I'm pretty sure that even if we have a system like this is the 1 hour signals, okay? And look at these success rates, 86, 86, 85, 84. All we need is a 62% success rate. Now, do all of them fill? No. But even if only half of them filled, and we know all the losers are going to fill, duh, right? all know that the losers are going to fill, but as long as the losers and the ones that do fill create a 62+% success rate, we're going to be in the win. Right now, I'm filtering the 1 hours out at 64% over 3 days. And this is the average. And I know David Menning is doing about the same even on his side, but I think it's a little bit less. Oh, that's 78% here. 64. No, it's about the same, 64%. I think there's some calculational issues happening a little bit. There's a lot of data in here. It's not very easy. But the solution's right in front of you. Now, you'll get this Z done. If you're part of the den, if you're part of that process, and this is where you want to go, then we'll be sitting down next week. You'll tell me what you want to do. If you're going to be going after the ZDON, I want you to at least be able to know what the signals are and how they work. And there's will be some things that I'll have you do. I also want you to learn the Dexatomic, at least to have it under your belt. And there's a reason why. Because the ZDON is attached to Nadex. And if Nadex ever decides that it doesn't want it attached to it, it can easily say, no, thank you. It can easily come after us and say, cease and desist. Can easily come after us and say, we're not doing anything wrong. They can come back and say, no, we don't want it. And it doesn't really matter because we're not breaking any of their bylaws or regulations unless they make new ones or unless they change the way that their codes are done, which they have a new system, but they haven't done away with the old one yet. And even if they do away with the new system, old system, we still have something in backup for the new system as well. But the strategy is still the same. Could you not just go to the signals page? It's going to ding off. I'll make an automation system to send something to your phone to where you push a button and it goes to your Nadex account and then you log in and you get the pair from that number. Listen, there's a million different ways to skin a cat, of course, is like they say. Now, before you run in and be like, Max, I want to test. I want to be with you as well. When can I go live on this? Nobody should be going live on this ZDON test until after July, after the first week of July, that very first Friday, right? That very first Friday of July, the 3rd, the 4th, that whole weekend into Monday. This is where I'm shooting for, the 6th, 7th, or 8th, right in that area. I need a lot of data in there. I need to see what the 1 hours and 2 hours look like. And that's what I'm going to push. Welcome to the den. Welcome to this world. This is what we have done for you. 34 trades, 64% success, $320. I haven't done the whole thing over on the other side yet. 2 hour trades, 80%. Hey, if this stays, listen, I turned it on. It didn't do any trade. I don't think I had the 2 hour on. I can't remember. I didn't think, oh, that's right. I only had the 1 hours on for the first 2 days. On the 18th, I turned it on in the afternoon, morning, and it came on and started trading. So this is the 18th and 19th. So yesterday and today, 2 days, $116, one contract. Please tell me you've been paying attention, folks. Please tell me that you've been watching the whole process for a while now, and you know the progression here. It's real money. It's real. We're not even talking yet about everything that I made for the Pine scripting system for TradingView and the Dexatomic TradingView charts. They're going to have to attack the entire fiat system for the world for this to go away. All right. You guys have anything you want to add to the end before we close out?
No, I'm good, Max. Thank you very much.
Covered a lot of data. People should be watching this and maybe even watch it twice.
Right. If you want into the den, if you're watching this and you're not in the den, we've had a lot of stuff happening. Starting on Monday, we're going to get very serious with advertising, pushing a lot of people into the process. Get in, get now. We're only going to have 200 spots available in this process. I have a very generous contributor who's looking to find some people within our system that want to help. Okay. And he's contributing to us to be able to help some people so you can come in and get payments and get other things like that and get stuff on. It's $2,400. We may put out a deal over the weekend through Father's Day for your family. Get it for $1,000, but it has to be paid up. There's no payment system for that. I'll be putting that out here. You can't wait. Reach out to myself or Paul or Thor, and they'll get a hold of me, and we'll get you set in there. Starting Monday, we're going to be going down a list. It was first come, first served. There's about 20 people ahead of you at this level right now. There's 20-something people that bought in and are here right now, ready to go. Get in, get ready, because we're slowly releasing, putting things in. But by June 30th, just like we set our pathway, there'll either be 200 people or June 30th, we'll be closing things down. We'll probably still be holding some people coming in after June 30th, but June 30th, this is where the memberships from the website go away. You won't be able to buy a regular membership. So if you got one right now, don't worry. We're going to let you come in and be part of this process. And we're going to give you credit for everything you paid for up to this point too, which is cool. I don't think any company does that, right? Everybody will just be charging you from right now. So I think it's something, again, bias. Paul, Thor, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I know Chris had some prior gamers that he had engagements he had to do. But thanks for being for today with the weekly wrap up here, June 19th, 2020. We'll see you Sunday, or we'll see you Monday, same bat channel, same time. There's going to be a change to our broadcasting ways here coming into next week. You'll see some more flashier stuff, some television kind of transitions and things like that. Be pretty cool, like we used to have in the gaming days. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Thor. We'll talk to you soon.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Everybody else, get in there doing the demo out. Give me some data for this Zedon, guys, because, man, is it huge. Post it in Facebook, do whatever. But huge. Maybe, Paul, you could do a couple of videos on it.
Yeah, no problem. I'll get onto that.
All right. You guys have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Happy Father's Day for all you fathers out there, for all you mothers that are fathers too. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week. I'm Max Farrell. This is DexFXMarkets.com. We'll see you next time. And as always, live well.